All right, so I'm talking about the adaptation and declaration, especially on agri-food systems. Ayala was talking there about the effect of flood. And we remember last year how rice, especially rice plantation, was hugely affected by flood, closely connected to climate change. So, and then the festivities are here. Festivities are here. Again, it's the time for one major staple food, of course, is rice in Nigeria. We know that the Lagos state government has been trying and working on efforts, sometimes collaborating with other states, you know, to increase the production of rice. But looking at boosting food production generally now, what the sub-states are doing, we have the special advisor to the Lagos state government on agriculture, Dr. Oluwarotimi Fashola, joins us in the studio. Dr. Fashola, good to have you in the studio.
Good morning. Thank you.
So I don't know how much I've been following the climate change conversation, but obviously climate change is affecting agricultural production at this time. Any effort, any conscious effort by the Lagos state government, you know, on that?
Yes, thank you. And climate change and rice particularly is important because of the fact that in many places now you have flood, and in other places you have drought, which are consequences of the climate change. And especially in Nigeria, we have a lot of flood happening in the southwest and south part. We have a lot of drought happening in parts of the north. And in areas that we hadn't seen much of flood in the north, we're also seeing flood, which is shrinking the rice land. The rice has a very good adaptation, but it does not adapt well to drought, and it doesn't adapt well to flood. Even though we do have flood-prone and drought-prone variety, these are not the varieties that farmers are planting at the moment. So the farmers are caught between the rock and the Blue Dead Sea, because they plant the normal variety and flood comes and wipe it out. They plant the normal variety and drought comes and shrinks their land. So these are issues of climate change that we need to mitigate against, and which we're doing a bit to work on. For Lagos State, our rice farmers are being introduced to rice, to varieties that are more prone to drought rather than flood. And it's an ongoing program that we have in the state, and that's one of the ways we're trying to mitigate against climate change for the state. Yeah.
So, and with Lagos State, I know then you were collaborating with Kebbi. I don't think that relationship is still on. Now you're working with private farmers. Is that what you're doing to boost, especially rice? You're very interested in rice, even though it's not just rice you do.
Yes, we had a collaboration with Kebbi to aggregate paddy for us and to process here. But that had to change at a point, and especially when we, Mr. Governor, completed the big rice mill that we have, which is a 32 tons per hour rice mill. The collaboration had to change to involving other private sector players in paddy aggregation as well as in the marketing. So what we do now, because of the size of the mill we have in Lagos State, we need to broaden our horizon in terms of aggregating across the spectrum, across the nation, so as to meet the demand of paddy that the mill requires.
But you know, even when you had that collaboration with Kebbi State on, and then you had your rice, it wasn't really accessible. I can say that. I can say that firsthand. You know, so it's beautiful when we talk about these ideas, but it doesn't really make a lot of difference until the average, maybe not the poor person, but an average Nigerians can actually go to the market, bring out their money and buy it. I mean, then you have to book it, or you talk to somebody and things like that. And I don't think that's what the Lagos state government is looking forward to.
For the collaboration we had with Kebbi,
I mean, even then, when you had that, and then you had the rice from, you know, that period. I remember one Christmas, it was quite popular conversations, and people who could connects to the top were able to get bags of rice, not for free, but to buy it at reasonable prices. But I'm saying, even as at then, it wasn't something that I could, or maybe not me, an average Nigerian could walk up to a shop and buy it. So not to mention now.
I think we need to understand the mechanism and the demands for rice. For example, in Lagos, Lagos State consumes 2 million metric tons of rice per year. That is about 40 million bags of 50 kg. Now, 40 million bags of 50 kg can't be produced by any mill. There is no one mill across the state, neither from importation, that can make that. So it's an aggregate of different mills, different players bringing rice to Lagos. And because of the population of Lagos, Lagos now is about 25 million people, eating about a bag a year averagely because of the high rate of consumption. Therefore, we have to understand the fact that it will be difficult for one entity to be able to supply the entire value chain of 40 million bags. We will have to understand the fact that we, as an entity, can do a percentage of that. So there will be other brands of rice in the system. At the moment, our target is to be able to do 20% of what we consume in the state from the rice mill. And that's the goal. The rice mill started in January. And right up till now, we've been able to increase our production from just about maybe 40,000 bags we did by the half of the year. Between July and now, we've done close to 50,000 bags, and we're still moving. And it's a process. Right now, we're ensuring that distribution go more to the people like you, if you could say. We're trying to reduce the amount of distributors that will hurt to people that are more community-centered, so that you can go to a community, say Daleko, K2, the K2 New Market, Imota, Ikorodu, Sura, to community markets that people can easily access, rather than give it to big distributors that will move it out of the state. Because it's a business world. If somebody, for example, buys from you, you are not actually in control how the person sells. So what we're doing from our own end is to ensure that we sell to smaller groups of people that will feed the community.
How do you do that? Because, I mean, this is business, as you noted. Yeah. You have a rice mill. Even though you're a government, it takes money to run and maintain that mill. So we understand that. So I come to you and I want you're doing how many bags now?
We're close to about 50,000 bags now.
And I said I can afford 50,000 bags.
Yeah.
You understand? So how do you handle that to meet your target customers at this time, according to you, community-based?
Yeah. At this time, no one can come. Well, to start with, government is not distributing the rice. It's the Lagos Commodity and Futures Exchange are the mode of distributing. And the agreement we have with them that no single person will come and say, I want to buy a truck, for example. A truck is 600 bags. Rather, we will sell to direct consumers who want to buy a bag or two, or smaller groups of community market that are buying 50 bags to resell. In that wise, we can distribute to a larger audience than to smaller groups of major distributors that can move it out.
But this community buyers that you refer to, do they use the commodities exchange?
Yes, they do. Everybody pays directly to commodity exchange, because commodities exchange are actually the ones that supplies the paddy. They're the one that aggregates the funds for paddy to be supplied to the mill. And the distribution therefore goes back to them so that they can offset the cost.
Okay. So, I mean, it's how many days to Christmas? Today is the 12th, so we have just about 13 days to Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
Less than 2 weeks. A lot of us are going to need bags of rice. Can these communities, I mean, the rice mill is in Imota, for instance. Yes. Do they get priority? Because it would be really nice if the people who are really down there, who really need this, a lot of elites can afford to buy the bigger bags of rice and unfortunately the imported rice, which is still dominating our market. But it would be really nice if, you know, the people down there can access our own rice. They'll feel a sense of belonging, especially people in the Mota community and surroundings, you know, where they see that, oh, this is our own project. I
can assure you that in Mota, Ekpe, Ikorodu, the closest community are actually buying buying Eco rice, because they'll have community markets in all those places. That I can assure you. Now, to the greater Lagos, anybody whatsoever can actually approach commodity exchange, can actually approach Ministry of Agri through the commodity exchange, to get to commodity exchange and buy as minimum as 1 bag. And for all civil servants and public servants, for example, we also have an outlet for them at Alausa that they just walk to and buy. So it's available. Now, for the greater good of the society, like I mentioned, Daleko, Sura Market, the New K2 Market, they all have distribution outlets that they can buy. You can walk up to any of those marketplaces I've mentioned and you can buy the rice. Okay, all right. I'll try, but I think I'll be so happy if those communities, since the mill is doing just about 50,000 bags, that it would be a lot to ask for if you expect that to spread, you know, to Greater Lagos and all of those. I think feeding those communities will be a really, really big relief for the state and for the country. I can be patient, you know, until the mill can do more and spread to us. I think I need to correct the impression. We are not doing only 50. I said we've done thus far. It's a continuation. Okay. Milling process, it's continuum. Yeah. So it's not what we've done in the last 2 months is what I just gave you. And we're still continuing. Okay, so for like December. For December, there's still more. The mill is not shut down. Obviously. So we're doing an average of about 10,000 every day? Every week. Okay, every week. Yes. 10,000 every week. Yeah, so we have moving. 2 weeks to Christmas. Yeah. So we're expecting just about 20,000. Yeah, roughly about that. I'll be patient, trust me. No problem. I'll eat other things, maybe beans. But thank you so much, Special Advisor on Agriculture to the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Oluwarotimi Fashola, for your time this morning. Thank you very much.